On this week's episode of the Views Podcast, I sit down with the homie Ndelo, and we talk everything from DRC apparel, fire, to Afro pop, more fire. So come vibe with us, man. Let's get into the episode. I know you hear that beat behind us. Hey, all right, I'm not gonna do that this week. Let's get it. Yo, what up, Ndelo? Thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here. Yes.
When you go from like right before we start recording to when it go live, it's like a little weird switch, right?
Yeah, like now it's real.
Yeah. Nah, man, thank you for being on the podcast, man. This is something I've been waiting for a long time, man. I'm a big fan.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, like it's more than, we can get into all that, but I think your brand is just more than just t-shirts, ink, and clothes. Like I like your whole your whole movement, how you go about it. But let's gonna get into it. Are you from the Congo?
Yes. Well, I am first generation born here in Charlotte, North Carolina. One of the very few.
Yeah.
My family and everybody is from the Congo, Bakongo specifically.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Bakongo? What?
Yeah. So Bakongo is the western region of the Congo.
Okay.
And my dad is Bayombe, and he's from the Mayombe tribe in the Congo.
That shit come off so smooth. Oh, man.
So I am a Bayombe. Yes.
Wow. So your family came here when your family came here?
So my family came here, and my dad came first in 71, I think, 71.
To Charlotte?
To Raleigh. He ended up going to Shaw University initially.
Okay.
So he went to Shaw University. They had a dowry in Congo for the marriage between him and my mom.
Yeah.
Then he sent for her here. They got married here. After he graduated, they moved to Charlotte.
So my cousin on my father's side of the family, her name is Cheryl.
Okay.
And her husband is from Nigeria.
Word.
And so that's almost exact. Well, not in reverse. They met in Raleigh because they live in Raleigh.
Wow.
And she moved. Just like she fell in love, and this up and snap of a finger. It was the next time we saw her. It was on a video. She was in Nigeria.
Wow.
I don't remember where in Nigeria, but like she's the only, like, you know, most of the women in my family, they still for some reason keep the Bird last name. Mm-hmm. Not her. I can't even pronounce it. But like but it was so cool because like when they had a traditional wedding in Nigeria, and then like my cousins when he cooks, you know, when we used to come over and chill, he would say, "We're not eating that American stuff. We're gonna have a traditional dinner."
Exactly.
And the shit was always like hitting, you know. So yeah. So I mean, that's cool though. It's cool that you actually know where your family's from and all that stuff. That's pretty cool.
Right.
So what got you into like the whole movement, the whole DRC movement? Like that's
really the whole process of me.
Start from the beginning, though.
To love myself and who I am.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because being a Congolese born in America, growing up in Charlotte in the hood, my own brothers and sisters from America hated me the most, right?
That's crazy.
You know, so that was my first struggle and almost enemy, I felt like. You know what I mean? Like, you look like me, but you hate me.
Yeah. Like,
they literally told me they hate me, try to fight us and beat us up every day. People, I mean, we were like 4 or 5 years old, getting beat
Seriously.
up by 12, 13-year-olds, getting jumped.
That's not surprising.
Almost every day, right? But that's really where the story started.
Okay.
You know, it wasn't really until we were getting beat up because we were African, and then we started standing up for ourselves because we were African. Mm-hmm. Then it was one battle.
Okay. The battle of West Charlotte.
Exactly, right? Seriously, it was crazy. It was like one battle of the Congolese against the Americans who lived in Roseland, right? Yeah. That's the projects that we grew up in Roseland, right off Clinton Road.
Oh, there was projects on Clinton Road?
Yes. Right.
See, when I got here, and let me cut you off, when I got here, the only one that was left was Double Oaks.
Right.
And then,
right.
But that was right when they was tearing them down, so they really, it wasn't.
Yeah, Roseland is a totally different place now, too. Yeah. Totally different place. But after that one epic battle where we stood up for ourselves, we didn't run.
Yeah.
Right? We stood up for ourselves. We fought. We still got whooped. But after that day, things started chilling out between us, you know, and they said, these boys can fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I do remember other times getting singled off And you remember back in the day when you were rough shoulders, you would walk around the circle, right? The shoulder, you don't want it, right? And then somebody grabs somebody's hand and then pushes it in somebody's face, you know what I'm saying? And that starts the fight. And I remember one more time where we had a battle lasted like an hour. Like literally, me against like 20 people, right? But
that's a typical hood story. I got one like that too.
Like it's crazy, right? And this is the trauma that you go through as a child, right?
Yeah.
And after that, right there, I came home and I was crying, and my dad said, "No, you go back out there and you fight them." You know what I'm saying? Like if they're fighting you because you're African, you show them how African you are. Yeah. And that was the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Of kind of like showing me and making me understand that okay, yeah, I'm special. Yeah, I'm African. I can't get rid of that. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing I can do about that. My parents did not walk around in fucking...
Yep. I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say.
In leopard skins and all. You know, it was crazy. You know, but now it's just wild because it's in reverse now. These same people who I meet, they're excited about how I've adapted the culture, my culture, into the grander and broader macro culture, you know what I'm saying, around me. And now they want to know more about my culture to try to get back to their culture as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy how time did heal the wound in a sense, but you know, it was so much that went through it. And that rising of me understanding who I was is where the whole gorilla mentality came from.
Okay.
And then understanding the essence of the gorilla in our culture, and that the mountain gorilla comes from the Congo, specifically from the Virunga region, you know what I'm saying, Goma, which is where we do a lot of work at right now too as well. So it's just wild how an idea that we started and it got implemented into our heads when we were like 6, 7 years old manifested itself, you know what I'm saying, into this clothing line, this movement, this consciousness, and this just revival of, you know, self, you know what I'm saying, in a sense.
You know what the crazy part about it is a lot of times it's cool to be black right now, right? It's really cool, which is it's sad and it's like appreciative at the same time, right? Like why wasn't it always on a mainstream level, right? Then with the help of like, you know, Black Panther, and everybody was wilding out on the Black Panther shit. But it was cool, it was good, because I have a little girl, I have a little daughter, and I make it a point, little brown girl, and I make it a point that her doctors are brown, you know, everyone she sees. That way she doesn't live in a world where it's new to her, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I was reading this book, and it's weird, around the same time, I guess I got caught up in it also. I've also struggled with feeling disconnected from Africa, stuff like that, right? And that's, I think, part of the reason why I love your movement is because I had this conversation one time with this white dude, and I had to explain it to him. At first I was angry, and I had to explain it. Things you think is just normal. Right. Hey, how the fuck don't you know this, right? But I realized, like, I had to explain to him. I said, listen, for me, I'm tired of watching movies that are black. Because it was about Black Panther, about why Black Panther was such a hit and why it means so much. Right. I said, man, because I'm tired of 12 Years a Slave. Why every time we have a movie, it always have to be like our struggle, our oppression. And then on top of that, the conversation progressed, and I had mentioned that I kind of want to do a 23andMe. Right, like I said, I want to do one of those. And I have other reasons why I don't do it. You know, I just don't want my DNA sample somewhere else. Maybe it's just me being paranoid. You know,
understood.
But I feel like I don't know where I'm from, and so that disconnect kind of makes me resent the fact that I don't have a history. Like, you hear Italians, they know, they can go specifically the town of such and such. Is where my family is from, and so we cling to myths, to a culture that may not be ours. For instance, I'm so tired of us clinging to Egyptian kings and queens, because I know personally that when Africa is broken up into East Africa and West Africa, I know my family probably came from West Africa. All of our families probably came from West Africa. East African people and Northern African people, a lot of those people consider themselves Arabic. They don't really consider themselves the same as us. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that being there and all that in the Egyptian culture, but I want to know if my family's from Nigeria or from the Congo, from Ivory Coast. I want to know where, so when I go, I can feel that sense of home. And I think that's probably why, maybe one of the reasons why you have problems when you're growing up, because we resent that we don't know. Right,
exactly. And it's wild too, because being that I did know, and my parents were directly from there, still being that I was born here, I still had to go through that same struggle, that same finding and search as well, you know, because now I grew up, my first language was Lingala, but I spoke it with a different accent, right?
A Southern accent?
American accent, Southern accent, right?
Yeah.
So now when I'm in the community speaking Lingala, they say I speak like a white man, right? so now I'm getting laughed at from my people for speaking my language, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm not African enough for my African people, right?
Yeah.
And then now when I'm with my American people,
Yeah.
I'm too African, right? So I've always found myself in the middle, you know what I mean? And that right there became like one of the places where I just became creative to figure out, well, if I feel this way, I'm pretty sure that other people who feel the exact same way. So that's when I also try to take the conversation outside of just Congo and really bring it to just the diaspora itself. You know what I'm saying? Just black and brown people, period. And that journey of understanding who you are within yourself. And once you do that, the gorilla within you will come out, right?
Yeah.
And when that gorilla does come out, that's when you do what? You start beasting, right?
Yeah.
And whatever it is you do, right? Because now you know who you are. And you're finding and searching and walking on your purpose, and that's where all the power in life comes in. At you know what I'm saying?
The fact that you're even taking gorilla and you've repurposing it in a sense of power, that's kind of it's again dope as fuck.
Appreciate that.
Because that's one thing white Americans want to do. When they want to down you, they want to say, "Hey, yo, you're a monkey, you're a gorilla," and I rocks with that. So it's not the one thing about DRC is that it's not just African African clothing, it's like it's streetwear that's with an African twist.
Yes.
And that's why I like. So how did you come? Tell me how you got to that point where you was like, how are we going to make this rock? How are we going to get people to rock our gear?
That's interesting, man, because we started doing this a while ago. You know what I'm saying? 2004 is when we started making our first T-shirts, right? So we were first initially just a T-shirt company, right?
Yeah.
Doing heat press on T-shirts and doing what we could do with it. But it wasn't until 2008, 2007, 2008, 2006, when my cousin went to college for fashion apparel management.
Yeah.
And we created our first all African Ankara, or what we say in Congo, Liputa, right? Liputa, the African print, right? Pieces, right? So we were on that before, we felt down here, especially, that it was even a thing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't this big surge of, everybody wanted to rock all these prints. So when we came out, the response we got wasn't as big as we wanted it to be.
Right,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? So because people kept saying it was too much African print. It was too much. So we had to get creative again. So now we started meshing it together, having hints of African print. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, and not just having a full focus, because I'm born here in America. So I do have American culture, American history within me as well. Yeah. So in adding the Congo piece, the African piece, you had to blend them together. So it couldn't be all of either one. You know what I'm saying? It's the best of both worlds. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Which is kind of dope, man, because when I figured out and found out in my discovery of who I am, my last name, Ndelo, means border. It literally means border. So as I'm growing and understanding who I am, I see that I've always been that middle, you know what I'm saying, that middle piece, that border between the Congo and the border between here. You know what I'm saying? Because now I am, in many cases, a point of reference to my American friends of what Congo and what Africa is, right? Yeah. And then when my African friends want to connect to their American brethren, right? Yeah. They want to come to me too as well, because I am that middle piece, you know what I mean?
Man, that kind of shit comes full circle.
Yeah, it comes full circle over time. You know what I'm saying? But it could have went a different kind of way. Like, I could have used that time period and that trauma and been like, fuck my people. You know what I'm saying?
Here or over there?
Here, both.
Yeah.
Both. I could have been that guy who was just all of in the Ivy Leagues and all of it just with white people, period. You know what I'm saying? Because during that time period of when I was getting beat down by my peoples, white people were loving me. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, it was wild. They were loving me. They were taking me in. They were talking to me about their experiences in Africa and all this other kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
So from that point of view.
So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So but because I am who I am and my pops is who he is, I maintained my course and found myself that way. I could have easily found a very comfortable space around a predominantly white community.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because of the love that they were showing me, which was counter to what the hate I was getting from my people, right? You know, and so it got me thinking about, like, when I came back from Paris, the Donald Glover joint was hot, right?
This is America,
right?
Yeah.
So, and when I watched the video, I was digging it real hard, man. And then a day later, somebody hit me up and was like, "Yo, you know, he's married to a white woman or something like that."
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And for me, I'm able to separate the message from the messenger, right? You know what I'm saying? Period, point blank. You can walk down the street and a crackhead can give you the best advice of your life because he has experience, right? You know what I'm saying? But he's a crackhead, right? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to be able to take the message and separate the message from the messenger. Yeah. So now in this case, I'm thinking about Donald Glover. Okay, yeah, he got a white girlfriend or a white wife, whatever, right? And that's how I'm thinking about how easy I could have been that guy, right? But then still wanting to represent my culture. So now, does it negate
That's
everything?
That's
Everything, because I am married to a white woman, but nobody knows my story.
Yeah.
Nobody knew that I was traumatized, I was beat down, I was destroyed, I was, ostracized. You know what I'm saying? I was thrown away by my community, right? Both Congo and a Black American community, and found refuge with whites and Indians or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody would have known that story, right? But they just would have saw, oh, boom, this is a cool Ndelo. He's got this movement going on. Oh, shit, he's married to a white woman. Fuck everything he says now.
A few years ago, I used to be, I had the idea, like, I used to be okay with people who was defending our people, but it was angry. And recently I've come to the understanding that I can be pro me and not hate you. But that took a long time. That I don't know. I don't even know when that actually happened, because I used to be like, I don't mind people who other people struggle, like the gay community struggle and whatever, and what Mexicans and all that. We all are trying to better ourselves.
Indeed.
But I was always wondering. The part that made me angry was like, it all happened on my grandmother's back, and now people come in and the laws that have been changed was on my grandmother's back, but then we get ostracized and we get labeled and then we get left behind. And so part of my reason, of my anger was because of that. And also, again, like I said before, we in this country and in the Caribbean is a little different. They understand more so the lineage back to Africa,
exactly,
and where these things come from.
Indeed.
And we understand it. It's just misplaced. It's just so, it's like we claim. That's why when Black Panther came out, everybody was so hyped because it somebody looked like me, act like me. My hair is a little different than most, right? I got, what people will call, I hate this, my father used to say this, good hair. And I'm pleased, I got the air quotes going up. And my pops used to say, every time somebody said that, he used to tell me, no, ain't no such thing. Hair is hair. And so people used to be like, oh, he got that curly hair. And now, and it's a beautiful thing, I watch people now rock their naps, their afros. Yeah, and now people who got hair like me are a little jelly now. You know what I'm saying? I can't get my hair to stay like that. And it's beautiful, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I think now the whole Black love movement and stuff like that, where we understand that, like it's cool to be. First of all, I remember when my pops used to say this all the time. Like, why do they always got light-skinned girls in the video? And now, I mean, that's a whole nother thing. But now I'm watching chocolate girls get love, feel love. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I love all of that. And so, I mean, I like I said this recently. I just realized that I don't have to hate you to love me, and I think that's a big thing now. And that's why I love you. That's to your point of the messenger and the message. I think that I got that point a little late in life, because I spent my whole life, man, like, listen, man, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? It's me against you, but I don't have to be.
Right.
So to answer your question, does the message, I think the problem people have with the message of somebody who's pro-Black but has a white husband or a white wife is I think it stabs at the one last bit of, I don't know, like insecurity of, are we not good enough? Like the NBA player who always has the white wife. But my boy said this one time, and I don't mean to talk hero. My man said this one time. He said, if you go to Penn State and you're Saquon Barkley or you're a big time football player, there ain't too many of us. Penn State's in the middle of fucking nowhere in Pennsylvania. Ain't too many of us there So what are you not supposed to do? And then another thing he said is, he says you learn in college how to get a career, but you also learn something they don't teach you that this happens. You learn how to code switch and assimilate to other cultures. So when you assimilate into that, sometimes you can get lost in it and it could be yours. Or sometimes you can judge. Becky over here has a good family, and well, fuck my family. I don't. They're poor. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, I mean, I think sometimes people are sensitive to that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. So, but like you said, I never put it so eloquently. A crackhead in the message. That's so high. So now there was this one video when you went over back to the Congo and you was proving a point. It was It's been a while since I've seen the video, so forgive me. But she was sitting here with no electricity. I think she was just using her foot to power the sewing machine. Am I wrong, or did she have electricity?
She had no feet. She had no legs at all.
Okay.
So which made it even more intriguing, because usually with those non-electric sewing machines, you have a foot pedal.
Right.
That you push and it gives you the motion to go around, right? So she doesn't have any legs, so she's turning her hand. It's even hard for me to even do it. Yeah. Turning the wheel while she's guiding it with her other hand. It's kind of like doing the whole tapping or whatever, right? You just can't do it, right? You really got to have amazing skill. But the pieces that she created for me when I was there were so amazing. The quality, like people till this day still have them, and they're rocking them like they're whatever kind of bag that's out here nowadays, right? Yeah. And that's part of the whole purpose of why we're in Congo and why we are traveling in different places around the world, to create an economic funnel. Yeah. Right? They create in the Congo, but then we can also sell it in Europe. We can sell it in America. We can sell it to anywhere around the world, giving them the outlet. There's so much creativity in that area of the Congo specifically, but it's also a place that's been, crippled with war, you know what I'm saying, and bad governments and bad business practices on all levels. Like shipping to the Congo is one of the highest places to even ship to and ship from in the world.
Was that because of the insurance or the danger of it, or just the fact that they just gouging you?
It's another reason to not mess with the place, I feel. You know what I'm saying? It's another reason to keep it down, because then people could create commerce. But when I was there in the Congo, tell me this, a 50-pound bag, DHL is telling me it's going to cost me $1,500 to send 50 pounds to the United States. How can anybody there who's making
US?
Yes, U.S.
Oh, shit.
How can anybody there making any kind of product, you know what I'm saying, make any kind of profit, you know what I'm saying, shipping it anywhere with that kind of shipping fee? Congo is also the most expensive, one of the most expensive countries to fly inter-country. So to fly from Goma to, say, to Kinshasa, you know what I'm saying, it's almost like flying from here to America or something like that.
Stop.
Like, you can't travel. So I was asking one of the guys when I was there, like, so if I wanted to get from Goma to Kinshasa, how do I get there? He said, he said, boat, moped, car, come on, man, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
And if you flew, how long you think that would be?
Like, you can't even fly from that part of the country. You got to go into Rwanda, right, into Kigali, drive 3 hours at least. Minimum from Goma, 3 hours, and then fly from there back into your country again. You see what I'm saying? So you see all these different things, all these different hurdles that are there to stop the growth or to stop the people from rising to their power. But that's what we're trying to do with our Made in Goma program and our DRC, you know what I'm saying, clothing brand, and our screen printing with McFly, and also with our FACTS program, which is fashion, art, culture, technology, and screen printing. So we're trying to teach the youth there how to screen print, how we screen print here, be able to get jobs there, have the equipment also to be able to do graphic design. Because graphic design is a skill that can be done anywhere around the world. You heard of Fiverr and all these other places, right? People, you don't have to be in the same country to send an email of a proof of a design that you did for somebody, right? We get clients that come to us all the time. So now we can start equipping the people in the Congo not only with screen printing jobs, right, but also graphic design jobs, right? Video production jobs, you know what I'm saying? Translating jobs. You see what I'm saying? There's different things that we can do digitally, but they need to have constant internet. They need to have constant power, the basic essentials in order for these economic opportunities to be able to flourish. And that's what we're trying to do, bring the resources. They already know how to fish. They're already fishermen, right? They know how to get to the lake. They just need better fishing poles. You see what I'm saying? That's it. So we're not teaching anything. Actually, when we got there, I did teach them how to screen print, but we actually exchanged knowledge, and I came back here with more information than I think I even left with them.
Bro.
It's crazy. Like, it's crazy. Like, the African ingenuity, you know, and where the, you know, like, we talk about that here, right? Yeah. Black ingenuity, right? Like, it's there, like, but at the source, right? You know what I'm saying? At the source. And these guys, I mean, they're making inks out of berries. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I left there, once they ran out of inks on their own, they're using different fruits and vegetables and things to make inks to actually print shirts, man.
Is that why you're so happy? Is that why you seem so motivated?
Yes, man.
Because
indeed.
Because I every time I see you never not have a smile on your face.
Never.
Every time I see you, is that also another reason? I noticed that not only are you you're selling great designs, and like I said, they're streetwear. People can actually wear these. They're fashionable. There's a message. There's a point. You know what I'm saying? But I also noticed that every time I come see you when you set up, you have people do it themselves.
Yes.
So I mean, yes. And I was going to ask that question, but now that I noticed that you said that you're teaching, that you're trying to help people, teach them how to, and how to screen print, and they're giving you in return this knowledge. Is that the same reason? Is that the same reason why you came in and want to have people do them themselves so they can feel more invested?
Yes. When you do it, like, I went to school to be an engineer, right? So we learned all this application in electrical engineering, right? But it's not until you get into the field and you actually do it with your hands that you actually learn it, that you gain the understanding. You gain the knowledge from reading the books, you gain the wisdom from being able to pass the test, but the understanding comes from actually doing it, right? You know what I'm saying? So having these people come, it might just be 30 seconds to 1 minute, but giving them that 30 seconds to 1 minute of everything that I have, and to teach them that process. Feel, I wanted to unlock something, reconnect with the artist inside of them. Like, I feel like everybody is an artist. You give a kid a pen or a paintbrush or a crayon, they're going to create art. I mean, even from less than 1 year old, they're going to create art. Now, whether you can interpret it and whether you feel like it's valuable or not, that's a different question. But it is at its heart and at its essential root, art. So one thing I feel like happens to us as individuals as we grow, we lose our imagination because we disconnect to the arts. So when you lose your imagination, you start creating. You stop creating, you lose the power that was given to you, right? Because we were all creators, right?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, but when you lose that understanding, just like you lose your culture, you lose the knowledge of where you're from, you know what I'm saying? These things kind of cripple you in a way, right? So it's all about getting back to you. We do all these different things, like to touch all of your senses, even, you know, try to reconnect your soul to yourself, you know what I'm saying? So you can understand the power that you have within yourself. Like, one of our sayings in our slogans is, it's cool to be conscious. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. Like, and we can pass that along. Everybody saying cheesy way, whatever. But no, listen, make it cool to be conscious. It's cool to be a thug. It's cool to be a gangster. It's cool to be all this other shit, right?
Yeah.
And people buy into that in droves. Like, it's so easy. They buy into it. And they become that. People who are rich want to be a thug. People who are affluent want to be, you know what I'm saying? They would change their whole shit around, right? So now, if we did have a movement in music, right, for a while, where it was this, you know, knowledge, you know what I'm saying, type of vibe, and cats were on it, medallions, the whole vibe, that shit, and it worked for a while, right? But then the powers that be, right, flipped on his head again, right? Exactly.
Too much of that,
right? But I feel like, you know, understanding that and making that, you know, the reality, the cool and the conscious, like, it's all about being aware. Like, this whole thing now, we woke now, right? You know what I'm saying? It's just another way of saying we conscious. You know what I'm saying? But then that became a negative thing.
Yeah, people got tired of that. I'm tired of hearing that.
Them conscious heads, you know what I'm saying? Them hoteps, you know what I'm saying?
Go
this and that. Yeah. With that back to Africa shit, right?
Bruh, just let it be.
Right, just let it be, right? We done with that shit, B. You know what I'm saying? But
speaking of music, though, the Afro-pop movement. Like, okay, so the one thing about music that is inherent is that it's it don't even take much. Like, if you can sing, it's like basketball. Brothers play ball. We play ball because all we need is a hoop and a ball. And that hoop don't even have to be round. It could be a trash can. It could be a crate. It could be the spot on the wall. You know, we make it. It's easy. Lacrosse costs money. Swimming costs money. This is easy. All I need is space and very little of it. Back home, I see cats. They will buy like Spalding driveway sets. And they'd be on a sidewalk. You'd be like, bro, I gotta walk across the street now. You know what I'm saying? It didn't matter. But one thing about music is. It takes you away. It gives you, it uplifts you. It makes you feel something. And then, so when I tried to start Views, the first thing I did was come up with a playlist. I figured if you hear Views through music you like, that name is you're gonna hear that name and you're gonna recognize it.
Makes sense.
So I always felt like the best musicians really come from the poorest situations, right? And so. So I noticed, like I said, you invited me out to come to Afropop this past Friday. And I was like, man, I work on Fridays. I ain't gonna be able to get out there. So I went out there anyway because I also had something else to do it was perfect. It was right there. I was gonna be at Black Market. And I get there and I'm like, this is gonna be dead by the time I get there. And I'm pulling up and there's cars, there's people dancing. And I'm like, hold on, what time is this? Oh, let me find out. It say 11, but it's gonna be going to 2 in the morning. Let me find out. So we get there and I'm parking. I'm seeing people happy. I'm seeing people. Then I'm looking around. I see DJ Kato over there spinning. I'm looking over to my left. It's like I saw him. I said, oh, what up, what up? Looked over. There go Ndelo right there, right? Sitting there doing what he do, right? With his mobile, with the mobile screen printing setup you got going. The next you know it, they playing the soca music. They playing, you know that, and people don't realize, you know, soca music or Afro pop, it's the same thing, and it's the same instruments, same vibe. For instance, a lot of people tell me about WizKid because of Drake when he's on Drake's joint, right?
Right. But
you know, when you listen to a lot of Afro, like Pruner Boy and all that, you know, it's just you can't tell. That they did this over in West Africa. You know what I'm saying? It sounds the same sound. I think sometimes a lot of Jamaican artists, Jamaica as a country gets a lot more credit for reggae that they didn't even commit, they didn't even make. That it happened over there in West Africa. You know what I mean?
True indeed.
So the Afro pop movement, you and DJ Kato, everybody, explain the mindset behind not just the brand, but the music.
Like Afropop is a creative space for people to come to and get free. Right? That's what it is, you know what I'm saying? And the music is a touch on all of the diaspora. Like, we want people from everywhere in the diaspora to feel comfortable and feel welcome into the tribe, Afropop, right? And DJ Kato does a great job of taking you through a nice little melody, you know, and a voyage, you know what I'm saying, from the Caribbean, you know, to West, Central, North, South, East Africa, you know what I'm saying, and even off into other places that we've never been before, you know what I'm saying, with the Afro-futuristic vibes that he brings to the table. And also DJ Still Will. Yeah. You know, like he's DJ Kato, Nigerian, right? DJ Still Will represent LIB, Liberian, you know what I'm saying? So he brings a whole nother vibe. And me and DJ Still Will have been rocking with each other for over 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So we have a special relationship, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to the music. And,
that's bro.
Yeah. That's bro right there. And that's older bro, you know what I'm saying? That's my yaya. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so Will Brown is special with that too as well. And I think both of them working together, you know, even the Afro trap music, you know, that's really like the trap music in Africa that we're bringing to the table, and the different mashups where you might hear, you know, a Jay-Z track over like you know, a Burna Boy track, you know what I'm saying? Burna Boy vocals, you know what I'm saying, type thing. I think that right there is a very key thing in Afro pop, to bring the cultures together. Yeah. Because at one very recent time, it was Africans party over here. Yep. You know what I'm saying? African Americans party over there. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Period. I'm from New York, so in the Bronx, like it's like, you know, when I lived in the Bronx, there was like, if you came from like 161st to like 174th, you know, it wasn't. That's not what they actually called it, but it was like Little Africa. Right. You know what I'm saying? It was just, and so that's
That's where that was at the African ghetto, and then you had 174th and up. There's like, oh, that's Dominicans and Puerto Ricans or whatever. And then you go all the way to the back, Gun Hill Road. That's where the Jamaicans are, stuff like that. So yeah, I feel you on that.
You feel me, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we try to make the music in a way that it will bring the cultures together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, and match them together. You know, so and I think it's working out. You know. The crowd is growing bigger and bigger, and people who aren't used to the soca, you know what I'm saying, the bachata, the kizomba, you know what I'm saying, all the time, they're getting more used to it now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They might, and I'm thinking they are, going home and listening to it on YouTube or what have you, and, you know what I'm saying, and adding it to the normal playlist, you know what I'm saying, which is cool because now we're bringing more culture to the area, you know what I mean, because we always say, people, being from Charlotte, you know what I mean, like you always hear, you know, it ain't no Atlanta. It ain't shit going on in Charlotte. Charlotte has no culture.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is actually making it happen. And then two, with the influx of people from all over, you know what I'm saying, everywhere, United States, you know what I mean? Like Afro pop gives them a resemblance of where they're from. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, because it's culture in New York, it's culture in DC, it's culture in San Fran, it's culture in Miami, you know, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So now I feel like these people are finding a home, you know what I'm saying, with movements like Afropop.
You know what's crazy? When I moved down, like in New York, I never felt like I was a part of. I never wanted to Columbus anyone's culture, but I felt like it was so around me that I felt like I was comfortable in it. So if I had, you know, I always have friends, Colombian friends. I got a Puerto Rican homie who I told him down here. I said, "My bro, you're Mexican now." You know what I'm saying? Because they don't understand the different cultures, and so I never felt like I was a part of anybody's culture. I just felt comfortable in it, where I can vibe. But the weirdest part is when I came down south, how I didn't feel black enough, country black enough. I felt like, you get what I'm saying? Like I felt like, oh, I don't know what is. I don't eat grits. I'm sorry. I don't like my food fried. I like flavor. You know what I'm saying? It's like I just felt different when it came down to when I came down here. So like when I'm hearing the soca music and everything playing, I'm thinking like, this is dope. This sounds familiar, right? This sounds really familiar. And then when I get there and you see like, now I got there late, and it still like it was about 200 people out there, sweaty. It was 90 degrees, bro.
Like
it was
even
not
at
hot.
nighttime.
Yeah, the sun was down. It made no sense. And everybody's sweaty.
Yes.
Everybody, and I'm saying, and when you said the text, the when you posted the flyer, I was like, oh, okay, this is Charlotte, so it's probably gonna be about 50, 60 people tops. That's a good showing, bruh. And then when people were telling me, they was like, nah, bro, that was people was leaving.
Yes.
In droves, because they was out there for so long.
Right.
So I'm like, y'all got it.
It was thousands, right? Like
y'all hitting the void, man.
Yeah, last year we had over 1,000. I think we reached, you know, close to 2,000 this year. You know what I'm saying? Throughout the whole night. You know, the whole day. Yeah. You know, from 6 to 11. It was great, man. It was great. I'm glad you got a chance to actually feel it. And then you came at the right time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I was like...
You came during the soca set.
Yo, so let me ask you a question about the brand. Are you trying to make it mainstream? Are you trying to blow it up? Because the reason why I say that is because Noisy on Viceland, they did a special on it was on Nigeria, but it was Afro pop and African hip hop and all that stuff. So I think like people are, because Viceland is blowing up, so people actually know about it now. They've got introduced to it through Noisy. But your shit is like, I feel like I've always said this to people who I rock with who have the talent, who you know, it's like when people try to like start doing photography, they will say, oh, I don't know what my style is. And I say, well, find 4 people that you actually admire in the field and take little bits and pieces of that and then merge it to make yours. Put your little funk on it.
There you go.
But mimic the mainstream so that you will always look mainstream. Your shit look mainstream.
Yo,
I tried making t-shirts. I sold my press to Dave Has Wings, to Dave. I was like, bro, do you want this shit? Because I got a crooked head, man. Everything was coming out sideways. I was like, I can't do this shit.
Not easy.
Nah, it's not.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, so I see people like you and like my man Paulie, and I say, y'all should be I should walk into a Macy's, and I'm expecting to walk into a Macy's and see DRC. So like, are you striving for that? Is that the goal? Because some people, it's not the goal.
That is definitely one of our missions. Because it's interesting you said Viceland too as well, because we were on Viceland too as well.
Where?
Yes. We on the episode called State of Undress, Congo, because we were part of Congo with Kinshasa Fashion Week. So you'll see me on the joint. Yes, we're on that.
Stop.
So it's interesting you actually use
I'll post that on the gram.
You got to post that. Yes. That's
I'm posting that on the
gram. So that did happen. But yes, we do want to get good distribution.
Yeah.
Like we want to be in stores. We want people to see this message.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and we feel like once we do that, we've kind of broken into that, because it's like we're underground hip hop in a sense right now because of the messages and the content that we put out there, right? And not too many underground hip hop acts make it to the top. You know what I'm saying? Right. Some do, but not many, right?
Right.
So we're trying to crack that code, you know, and crack that wall, because we do want it to be a global thing.
Yeah.
You know, because the more distribution and the more visibility we have, the more products that are made in the Congo can reach out to the market.
Do you ship overseas?
Yes.
So where do you see the most like love coming from?
Paris and London.
I was going to ask that. Was it Paris?
Yeah, Paris and London. You know, really a lot. You know,
is that because of the strong African like?
Yes, like being in Paris, like since it's a francophone, Congo is a francophone country, right? Mm-hmm. So being that it's a francophone, Paris is French, so it's a huge Congolese community and influence in Paris. Like they even have a little area called Chateau Rouge, which is basically like walking into Congo. You hear nothing but Lingala everywhere. You see.
I think I saw that on Noisy too.
Yo, I think it was on there. Yes, it is. Chateau Rouge. Yes. And then when you go to Belgium, it's the same thing. They got a place called Matonge, and you literally are walking into Little Congo. So if you never make it to Congo ever in your life, go to these two places, and it's like literally like a little Italy or a little Jamaica, whatever. Dope. Right? Exactly. But literally the culture infested, restaurants, music, everything.
Ah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Pretty dope.
So back to you were saying that the idea is to
yeah, it is there, and it's just tough, because production, which is one of the main reasons why we went into making our own stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? One, to lower the cost of production and to control it. Mm-hmm. We wanted to become more vertically integrated, so we feel like if we can grow on the production of our products and other people's products, that'll give us more seed money, right, to be able to make what we need to make in order to get into these stores, right? Because if you try to get production from, let's say, another screen print or what have you, your minimums are out of control.
Yeah, yes.
You've seen it,
especially
right?
Especially on hoodies. I seen the wholesalers when I hear in Charlotte where it's like $30 for a blank hoodie,
right?
And it's like, well, shit, that's one hoodie, yeah.
Right. So what you got to sell it for, right?
I got to sell you a hoodie for $50 to make profit.
And listen, and the equation in the fashion industry, right? You got cost of goods times 2 equals wholesale. Then you got wholesale times 2 equals retail. So now if it costs you $30, multiply that by 2. That's your wholesale cost, $60. Now what do you retail it for in the store? Now $120.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You see what I'm saying? Like that's how the process rocks, right? So that's why when you get a product in the store and it costs $100-some total dollars, right? All that money's not going to that person, right? You know what I'm saying? Like it really costs. Like if you break it down, you can get to the bottom line of it. You know what I'm saying? But having your own production in house, we're cutting those costs, right? So now we do a lot of our products just in time. So this way we're not sitting on just tons of inventory, right?
Like made to order.
Made to order, pretty much, right? Right, pretty much. You order it, we make it, we ship it out. But we're not doing any heat press or anything like that. We're taking it through the traditional process of screen printing each one. You know what I'm saying? Boom. But at a certain point in time, that becomes difficult too as well. Yeah, if you're doing hundreds of different designs a week, that's a lot of, you know what I'm saying, work right there. So you got to find a happy medium in between. But it all depends on how your pockets look like. You know what I'm saying? How
because Duke Pop ain't giving niggas light free.
At all, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's important for us to be on shows like this so people can hear our story and see the product and actually purchase it. Because the more they purchase, the more they go to feed, the actual process and the mission of what we're trying to get to.
I'm a big dude, man. You make my size?
We got you, Chief.
All right, that's what I'm saying. I want to look fresh out here.
We got you.
See the t-shirt I got on right now, man? I don't want to wear this.
And you don't need to. I got you.
I don't want to wear this. Yeah, I'm over here. So, look, this is horrible.
Yeah, you need a pack of 5. At least, you know what I'm saying, Monday through Friday. You know what I'm saying? I need to send you a Monday through Friday shirt.
I was actually, my day job, I'm a truck driver. And I always saw you, every time I saw you, you was actually the epitome of hustling. Like I was at an event, Charlotte Unite. There you go. Afropop. There you go. I see you on the gram. But one day I was just happening to be just driving around, and I got a little lost, so I wanted to turn around. I went to the wrong development. I happened to turn around. I'm making a U-turn. I'm just talking on the phone. Make a U-turn. I look and I go, holy shit, he got a store. He got a brick and mortar store. I just stopped and I sat there and took a picture. And I sent it to my man. I said, yo, Ndelo out there, they really out here. And so I was like secretly like super proud of where I saw. And I mean, obviously I came in 2004. I met you like last summer.
Right.
It was like I was proud. I was like, wow. There are steps. A lot of people think that they can skip steps.
Right.
You can't skip a step. But you're doing it the right way. And I just feel like if anything I can do to get to be a voice for you or whatever. Like I said, I mean I've hit you up a few times, and but I know you're busy. I understand.
Yes.
I'm. Last week, you supposed to be on last week.
Exactly right.
But my man said, "Look, I'm tired. It is, and I get it, and trust me, I definitely get it." So, I just want to say thank you again for being on my podcast, bro.
It's a blessing, man.
Man, thank you. This is listen. I listen. I don't know how some of other people listen to their podcast, but I listen to mine. I listen to mine for two reasons. One, I don't want to forget what you said 30 minutes ago, and two is this is game tape. I need to get better at this, so I'm listening to see how I can get better.
Right.
But like I said, I appreciate you being on. For everybody out there, please put out your social media, your personal one. May I ask you a question before you do that? Are you an artist?
Yes.
Do you actually draw? You personally draw some of your own renderings, or like how?
More graphic design.
Okay, we
don't anything. I'm telling you, man, I used to draw like crazy with my hand. I used to win awards and everything.
Yeah.
But I took it in a different way. That's why we push arts so bad. Do not leave the arts. Yeah. I left the arts for like 15, 20 years, and it changed my life.
Yeah.
I should have been a 15, 20-year vet in the arts. You see what I'm saying? Yep. And then combine that multidisciplinary with engineering, with, architecture, whatever it may be. We got to be more multidisciplinary, right? You know what I'm saying? And not be afraid to say that, we do these things and we can combine these pieces together to make a better and a more beautiful canvas. Yeah.
I don't know if you said this already. Did you go to college?
Yes.
What school you went to?
North Carolina State University.
Oh, you went to state?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Like my uncle would say, 2 degree. You got 2 degree.
Yeah, that's yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I didn't go to college, so I'm even more jelly now. Yeah, well, put your information out there so people.
Yes, no doubt. Check us out at DRC8Apparel. That's DRC APEPAREL at McFly Fresh, and also you can check me out personally at East Coast African on Instagram. Also check out our website drc8apparel.com. Excuse me, DRC. I was thinking about our old website, drc144k.com, which you can still go to as well. It's still out there, but drc8apparel.com. And make sure you support our Back to Africa program. We're going back to Goma in July, and we need your support to make it happen. Thank you.
The Afropop, if somebody wanted to know, is it you said it's once a month, right?
Once a month, every third Saturday of the month at Moorhead Tavern currently right now. Yeah.
Oh, so okay. So it's always going to be at Moorhead Tavern.
Yeah, Moorhead Tavern.
God, you know what's crazy about that? Like, I personally, I feel like reviving Moorhead Tavern because when I first got here, it was a thing, and then for years it wasn't.
Right.
So when people told me when they was leaving, they said the after party from on Friday was at Moorhead Tavern. I said, nah, that's closed. That's got to be closed. That's got to be closed for years. And they's like, nah, that's where it's at.
It's back. It's back.
Ndelo, man,
Yes.
Appreciate you, man.
No doubt, man. Thanks for having me, man.
You're a fan for life, man.
No doubt. Thank you, brother. Same
like
thing.
I said, I do this every week. Definitely rate the podcast. Subscribe wherever you are listening to your podcast. Follow us at views, V_EWS. Like I said, follow Ndelo and the Afropop movement. And again, my Instagram is the Visual Dope Dealer on Instagram and Twitter. Views is the same thing on Twitter and everything like that. And this is the reason why we do this. I want to be able to sit down with people who look like me, who are doing dope things, who aren't basketball players, who aren't they ain't playing sports or singing and dancing. I don't mind it. We're so much more complex people than that, and we're deeper. We need to be promoting people like yourself and people who are actually and again, I believe in that art shit because I put the camera down for about I want to say 8 years, and I feel like I could have been a lot further than where I am right
exactly.
now.
Right. We got to balance it somehow, some way. Yes,
bro.
DRC
Next week.